Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Steffy Forrester doubles back, busts Finn with hope. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Luna and Bill's disturbing kiss will create a string of catastrophic events. Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline Missins Wood, just said goodbye to her husband and told everyone she is leaving town. But there's no way she will go to the airport after what she witnessed at the Spencer mansion. Here's what's coming up next on Bold and Beautiful Spoilers ahead. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Steffy Forrester puts off trip. Steffy has no idea that Bill Spencer, Don Diamond, and Luna Nozowa, Lisa Yamada, just found out they aren't related. Regardless of whether they are or are not blood related, we can all agree it's disturbing. Steffy Forrester will most like pause her temper tantrum vacation and double back to talk to her husband John Finnegan, Tanner Novlan, about what she walked in on. Luna Nozowa is young and her mother is in prison. It makes sense that Steffy would go track down one of Luna's only other relatives in Los Angeles, her own husband Finn. The bold and the beautiful spoilers hint that Finn thinks his wife is already on a red-day, and that means Steffy could walk in on something unexpected. Once Hope Logan, Annika Noel, thinks the coast is clear and Steffy has officially left town, she'll most likely make a beeline to Finn. B&B spoilers. Hope Logan can't leave Finn Finnegan alone. Despite being told by literally everyone wanting to stay away from Finn, does Hope decide to pay him one last visit? Imagine Steffy's shock if she walked back into her own house and found Hope comforting her husband over their temporary split. Maybe Hope and Finn won't be that brazen. Steffy could return to tell Finn about Luna and walk in on him talking to Hope on the phone. At this point, if Finn so much as utters a word to Hope, it's a guarantee that Steffy will serve him divorce papers. Do you think Steffy will walk in on Finn cheating with Hope? Steffy Forrester had always prided herself on being a woman who knew what she wanted and how to get it, but as she paced the length of her office at Forrester Creations, her thoughts were anything but clear. The knot in her stomach tightened with every step, a gnawing feeling that something was terribly wrong. The last few weeks had been a whirlwind. Hope Logan's erratic behavior, Finn's sudden distance, and the strange energy between them that Steffy couldn't quite put her finger on. She had tried to ignore it, chalking it up to stress and the chaos of their lives, but the doubts wouldn't leave her alone. Finn had always been her rock, her anchor in the stormy seas of the Forrester-Spencer-Logan drama. But lately he'd been slipping away, and Steffy couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to it than the pressures of his job. Her phone buzzed on the desk, pulling her out of her thoughts. It was a message from Ridge, her father, asking if she was okay. She typed a quick response, assuring him she was fine, but the truth was she didn't know if she was. The unease had been building for days, and now it was threatening to consume her. The final straw had come that morning when she overheard a conversation between Hope and Finn. She hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but the tone of their voices had caught her attention. Hope had been giggling, like a schoolgirl with a crush, and Finn had sounded off, nervous almost. It was a side of him she'd never seen, and it sent alarm bells ringing in her mind. Deciding she couldn't stand the uncertainty any longer, Steffy made a snap decision. She had to know what was going on, even if it meant confronting her worst fears. Grabbing her purse, she left Forrester Creations and drove home, hoping to find Finn there. But when she arrived, the house was empty, the silence only amplifying her anxiety. Steffy's heart pounded as she stood in the middle of the living room, her eyes darting around as if the walls themselves held the answers she was seeking. A part of her wanted to believe she was overreacting, that she was letting her insecurities get the best of her. But another part, the part that had always trusted her instincts, knew better. She pulled out her phone and hesitated for a moment before dialing Finn's number. It rang once, twice, and then went to voicemail. Steffy's hand clenched around the phone as she hung up, a sinking feeling settling in her chest. Something was definitely wrong. Determined to get to the bottom of it, Steffy decided to check the guest house where Finn sometimes went to unwind after a long day. She made her way outside, the crisp air doing little to calm her nerves. As she approached the guest house, she noticed that the door was slightly ajar. Her heart raced as she stepped closer, every instinct screaming at her to turn back, but she pushed forward, needing to know the truth. Steffi paused at the threshold, her breath catching in her throat as she heard voices coming from inside. She recognized them instantly, Finn and Hope. The words were muffled, but there was no mistaking the tension in their tones. Slowly, carefully, Steffi pushed the door open a fraction wider, peeking inside. What she saw made her blood run cold. Finn was sitting on the couch, his head in his hands, while Hope stood in front of him, her arms crossed over her chest. They were too close, too intimate, and the look on Finn's face was one of anguish, as if he was caught in a battle he didn't know how to fight. "I can't keep doing this, Hope." Finn's voice was thick with emotion. "It's not right." Hope's expression softened, and she reached out, placing a hand on his shoulder. "I know, Finn, but we can't deny what's happening. There's something between us, and it's not just going to go away." Steffi's heart shattered into a million pieces as the reality of the situation hit her like a freight train. The man she loved, the father of her children, was being pulled into Hope's web, just like so many before him, and the worst part? It wasn't some malicious seduction. There was genuine conflict on both sides, a confusion that made the betrayal all the more devastating. For a moment, Steffi considered bursting in, confronting them both right then and there, but something stopped her. She needed more information, needed to understand the full scope of what was happening before she made a move. So she turned and left, her footsteps silent on the path back to the house. Once inside, she closed the door behind her and leaned against it, trying to steady her breathing. She felt like she was suffocating under the weight of her emotions. Anger, hurt, betrayal, and a deep sadness that threatened to consume her. Steffi knew she had to be strategic. If she confronted them now, without knowing all the facts, it could backfire. Finn was already conflicted, and if she pushed too hard, she could lose him for good. No, she needed to play this carefully, to gather more evidence before she made her move. She spent the rest of the day in a daze, her mind racing with thoughts of what she'd seen. Every time she closed her eyes, the image of Finn and Hope together flashed before her, a painful reminder of the betrayal that was unfolding right under her nose. That evening, when Finn finally came home, Steffi watched him closely, searching for any sign that he might confess what had happened. But he said nothing, just kissed her on the cheek and asked how her day was. The normalcy of it all made her skin crawl. As they sat down to dinner, Steffi forced herself to smile, to act like everything was fine. But inside she was falling apart, her mind already working on a plan to uncover the truth. She would give Finn the chance to come clean, to tell her what was going on. But if he didn't, she would be ready. Steffi Forrester had been through too much to let her life fall apart again. If there was one thing she knew how to do, it was fight for what was hers. And this time she wouldn't go down without a battle.